Hi, my name is Ian.
Ralph Santos.
Sarah Hutton.
Sammy Sanchez.
I'm Malik. Salman. Anthony Zuba.
I'm Maria Davila.
Hi, my name is Ray.
Hi, my name is Freddie.
Do you believe that there's any stereotypes that society makes you feel like you have to follow?
No.
You don't feel like you have to act a certain way or be a certain way?
I personally, I don't have to act anyway because that's how I was raised. I'm my own person.
Okay, so
All the
examples?
time. Like, for example, how you're girls, you have to wear makeup, or you have to like pink, or you have to do certain sports that only girls do, because guys shouldn't do that, because it's not manly enough, and it's like girly, you know? Or I have to get my nails done, which I mean, I don't mind because I like it, but at the same time, it's like for me, but people think that it's for like them, and it's never like that. Like, if I do my makeup, if I dress up, if I do my nails, it's for me, not for others.
I think especially in women's sports, especially soccer and big sports that are up and coming, especially in the Olympics, that women are portrayed as weak, or they can't be as strong as other men, especially in sports. That's I think people should stop portraying women as being weak in sports.
You're buff, you don't show your emotions very much.
Yeah, I think there are a few that men should be this total brute, that we shouldn't be able to do certain things that women do, like cry or complain about stuff, or I had a grandfather die, I cried because I shouldn't relate to that stereotype, but I feel like society in itself has contained that little cookie cutter stereotype for all men, and it hasn't gone anywhere.
They stereotype us to hide our emotions, and bottle them up, and not let them out. Maybe the way that you act, like what you wear and stuff, you can be judged by that.
Girls are expected to be have the hourglass shape and tend to be more obviously feminine and have higher voices and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird for guys to wear pink or purple or feminine, softer colors. Or you have to act a certain way and hide your emotions and stuff like that.
So at my job, girls are expected, they're encouraged to wear makeup so they sell more stuff.
Don't show your emotions. You gotta be tough. You gotta be super responsible. You gotta figure out your life. You gotta make money. Another thing too is being tall. I've never understood that one. That's something you can't change, you know?
For women, I think that society really does kind of maybe not intentionally, but a lot of the time they kind of push that body type image that we're supposed to have. Even with plus size models, you still see them having that hourglass shape. Maybe they're plus size, but it's still that specific shape, when all body types should be accepted. Me and a lot of other people I know, it gets kind of uncomfortable if we don't look a certain way. So that's a big deal.
They're called plus size models because that's the certain character they fit. That's the character society puts them in, instead of just being regular models.
Yeah.
That's another.
Even though they're beautiful. Do you think that there's double standards for people because of their gender? If you're a boy, you can't do this.
No, I agree. I feel like there's double standards for I feel like if you're a male, you have that assumption that they're better off higher ranked than women, which in my eyes isn't true at all, because you can have a woman who makes more money than you're a male. So I do feel there are social standards and rankings and everything, but I feel it leans more towards males. That's how it's always been. I don't think it's right, but what can I do?
I think for some double standards, even including men, especially now in our generation, with people coming out as gay, transgender, that men can also wear makeup, girls can wear makeup, so just make sure you're thinking everybody as being equal, especially no matter their gender or age.
Going back to the whole showing emotions thing, I think a lot of guys don't they think it's just weak and doesn't look good on them if they just go and show their emotions to anyone like that. If they're not open, if they're super closed off, it makes them seem more manly.
Yeah, for a boy, it's okay to talk to a lot of girls or whatever, but for a girl, it's not okay for them to talk to a lot of guys.
All the time, of course. I feel it's everywhere. And then at school, when you're older, at work, at home sometimes even, because your family, they're old school.
You ever hear the whole certain drinks, because they're sweet or something, these are the drinks that gay people drink? Bro, if I'm gonna drink something, right, it better taste good. I'm not here to eat or drink things that don't taste good. I'm sorry.
I see that a lot. I was with my girlfriend and she has a skateboard, and we were skateboarding underneath this tunnel, and there were these other guys there, and they were just looking at us the whole time because they never seen a girl on a skateboard. That's one example of just showing that society has us in this little position that girls shouldn't do this and boys shouldn't do the other thing. But now we're seeing it a lot more in society when it comes to makeup or gender roles, or it's everywhere.
With dating, I think that one's a big one because, you know, it's expected that like girls are supposed to be the one asked out by the guys, and guys are supposed to be like the more like stronger ones, when that doesn't have to be the case. Like that's an older relationship, and our times are changing, so I don't think it should be like that.
Do you believe that you have better opportunities in certain areas based solely on your gender?
I do believe I have better opportunities. I feel like personally, like the military standpoint, which is something I'm looking at, I have a higher opportunity than a female, just because that they assume that males are all more like equipped physically and mentally can do things that females can't do, which I believe is wrong, but sadly that's the world we live in.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not as common as like it used to be.
Unfortunately, yes, because I feel like people think that like girls can't do the same thing even though they can, so they just think they can do it.
Do people ever make you feel like uncomfortable because of your sexuality?
Yeah, no, all the time. I remember like ever since I was little, like I've always like cried to my mom because people call me a slut, people call me this and that, just because like, I mean, just because I'm a girl, just because I'm like the way I am, you know, I'm loud and I get along with like guys too, you know, and then people are like, you're a slut, and I'm like, they're my friends, like I'm not doing anything.
Okay, or like how you were dressed, have people ever made you uncomfortable because of what you're wearing?
Oh yeah, all the time. But I learned to like let that go, because like it's my body, I don't care.
If I wear something that's like I would think is something that I typically don't wear and that people might see as weird for me, like I might feel something towards, I feel like a little bit like, you know, maybe I shouldn't wear this because I might get like judged for this. But it's not really like, I'll still probably end up wearing it, but it's that thought that's always there still.
I have been like slut shamed by like several people, and like, you know, like some people they like make jokes like about that type of thing, and then other people are like very like insistent upon it and just like are just very rude about it, and I'm like, I don't really see why me being so open about my sexuality, or me having like those experiences is something that like we look down upon because I'm not like proper and I'm not like this or that. I'm not a very chaste person, and it's like, you know, like it kind of sucks sometimes. And then also like with guys, the double standard where like there are guys at this school that like they want to wait till marriage, and they want to like, they like to, you know, like I know lots of guys that want to establish an emotional relationship with a girl before they have sex with her, and like that's almost looked down upon sometimes too. So it's like, it just kind of sucks how there's that like standard right there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, my own girlfriend thought I was gay before we ended up dating. So.
What's your definition of catcalling? Like, what do you think catcalling is?
When you disrespect a woman by like, or a man, by just like looking at them and then sexualizing them in a way that you're like, oh, like, hey, they're sexy, and like they didn't ask for that.
Being rude and talking about someone in a way that has to do with their body.
I think that I maybe have like a different idea of what catcalling is than some people, because I don't really, if a guy like just tells me I'm hot or something, like just like a random guy like and like yells that at me, I don't really get like scared. I do get scared though, like if I'm being followed, or if like someone's being very insistent and like coming up to me and like I've like explained like I don't want any contact, I don't want anything like that. That's when I get very scared, and that's what I think catcalling is more so.
Harwell over here, if I was a girl, I thought he was really attractive, I would scream to him and call him out like that, even though he may not, you know, want me to, or may not feel in the mood.
Has someone ever catcalled you?
Oh yeah, no, I go on this like when I'm walking with my mom and they're men looking and just like whistling at you and just calling you like hot and stuff, and it's like they're old men. I'm like, I'm 5, I'm sorry.
And how did that make you feel?
Uncomfortable, and like uncomfortable in my own body. Like it's not just uncomfortable in general, but like with me and myself.
Has someone ever like catcalled at you?
Not in person, but online. Yeah, it was really weird. Weird gay people I've met online. It's yeah.
How did it make you feel?
I never received, this is way back, so I never really received compliments at the time, so it felt good, but now looking back, it was like, that was really creepy. They were adult people, so I guess that's not really catcalling, that's more like pedophilia.
I don't really get, like catcalled like that often, but there has been like this one instance where I was like at an In-N-Out and like Ralph was there actually. It was me and a couple of friends, and I was just standing there, and then this guy was like videotaping me. He was like taking pictures of me and like trying to be discreet and not like let anybody know that he was taking pictures of me. And like I pointed it out to Ralph and I was like, what's going on? And I felt very uncomfortable and scared in that situation because it was like this guy, like I didn't know, he was probably like his 30s, 40s. And, like granted I wasn't wearing like the most conservative clothing, but like it's not my responsibility to like cover up just so that somebody doesn't take a picture of me. I should be able to go where I want without fear of people taking pictures of me, without fear of people being like in my personal space bubble. I shouldn't have to like be scared about those things. And I think that is like a problem that society has, is trying to put that problem on girls and say you shouldn't look like this, you shouldn't dress like that. If you don't want that to happen to you, it's not my responsibility. Like I'm not supposed to be the one to fear for that type of thing. We should be teaching guys to not be like those type of people. Like that's just awful. So yeah.
Yes, a long time ago in sophomore year, I was at the Grove with my friends. These 2 girls, I don't know how old they were, but they looked kind of old, and they just ran up to us, and then they started calling us cute and whatever. It was uncomfortable at first, but it was kind of cool after the fact.